My whole story was that I was, I guess, courage constrained. By being a spoiled kid, I didn't learn anything. I just learned that I could get whatever I want, whenever I wanted, however I wanted it. And life's lessons kicks you in the butt once you have to grow up and become an adult. I
Yep.
guess it took me long to become an adult. So that's where it's like my whole struggles began when I realized that I'm not the smartest man in the world. I'm not the best business person in the world. Hell, I'm not even the best athlete in the world. I'm just like someone who like taught himself a lie. So I had to break that courage constraint and like create my own legacy. And a certain way I did that was a lot of people suffer the way I suffer, right? You don't have to be addicted to drugs to suffer. You just have to like be strong enough to actually build your own empire.
All right, everyone. So today we have my good friend Gabe, and he was actually on episode number 20 way back in the day. What, like 2.5, 3 years ago? It was
Was
so
it that
long
long
ago.
ago?
Yeah, something like that. I think it
Wow.
was at least 2.5 years ago.
I
So
think
yeah,
so. This is when we first started together at 10X.
yep, yep. So
Yeah.
we're both 10x business coaches, and we're kind of doing our own thing because we want to impact the world ourselves and leave our own brand and everything like that. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited because we can catch up and see what you're up to now versus way back then.
Shit, that was wow. Okay. 3 years have gone by that fast.
Yeah, let me look at when that was posted. I can tell you really quick. So
That's not.
June 23rd, 2024.
Yeah, that's almost 2 years ago.
Yep. So yeah.
That was when it was posted. I think we recorded it like 2, 3 months in advance before that. So yeah,
Yep.
it's about 2 years ago.
Yep.
Wow. I was going to say
That's
last
funny.
year.
Yeah, I know. Like the past like 3 years, time has just flown by. Like it's crazy. Like I remember growing up, my parents and my grandparents, they always said that the older you get, the faster time goes. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Nope, they were right.
And it just keeps going faster and faster. It's
Yeah.
like ever since COVID too. It's like holy crap!
Yep.
It's been 6 years since COVID. I do not believe that.
Yeah, that's
I do not
crazy.
believe it's been actually 16 years since I was 30. It's like wait, no, that doesn't happen.
Yep.
How has it been that long?
I know. And
Yes.
I think a lot of it too, especially for people like us, like we're running businesses, so we're
Mhm.
always on the go doing stuff. And as everybody can relate, if you're doing something, you're busy, time goes by a lot faster. If you're just doing nothing, time goes by really slow.
Really slow and boring if you're doing nothing.
Yeah, I don't like it. Like I have to do something.
No. The whole thing is when you're making more of an impact too, time's flying by faster than that.
Yeah, yeah, because like
So,
you have a purpose that's kind of pulling you along, and you're excited to do what you do and help more people and just see you. I'm just excited to see what I can do. Like how many people can I help? Like that's
exactly. Yeah.
what I care about the most.
Yeah. That's the going consensus, right? How many people can you help in the limited time that we're here?
Yep.
And that's
Cause
like, that's what keeps me going.
yeah,
I have a limited time here. It's like, we could have unlimited money, but time is your biggest resource because
hmm
you're never getting that back. That's 16 years since I've been 30 years old has just flown by. And, like 3 years ago when we had our podcast, when you were my 20th, and you were on mine too before that,
yep,
right?
yep,
It was before that, yeah. So I will tell you the time between then and now, I think I've made more of an impact on myself and like my community around here than the previous 40 years. So I'm feeling great about myself today as I did like 2 years ago. When I spoke to you, it was all about like Grant Cardone, right? It was all about 10X and not knock 10X. I know we're still a part of it. But the whole thing with that is that I believed if I'm carrying someone's legacy on, I'm not creating the impact I want to create in my own.
yep.
So that's why it's
I'm
like to me, yeah, you have to build your own brand. You have to like go out there and create that ripple effect for yourself.
yep. I'm right there with you. I want to create my own legacy, not somebody
Mhm.
else's. So
Yeah,
yeah, like I love 10x and everything, but that's not only who I am. I'm much,
exactly.
much more than that. So
Exactly. And like the whole belief behind that is that everything had to be circulated around Grant Cardone, which
hmm
is great. He's a great mentor. He's
hmm
taught a lot. But at the same time, it's if I'm circulating around Grant Cardone, then what am I circulating around Gabriel Vangelatos, really?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and
My whole like theory was I need to get my own frameworks and I need to create my own thing and I need to tell my own story. I can't go around saying that, hey, I was a 16-year-old crackhead because I wasn't. And that's how like Grant Cardone got his name, right? He like built his empire from being, I guess, a drug addict to like a billionaire. I was never a drug addict. I was a normal kid. I was a spoiled kid. So I had to create my own legacy, but I had to tell my own story. My whole story was that I was, I guess, courage constrained. By being a spoiled kid, I didn't learn anything. I just learned that I could get whatever I want, whenever I wanted, however I wanted it. And life's lessons kicks you in the butt once you have to grow up and become an adult. I
yep,
guess it took me long to become an adult, so that's where it's like my whole struggles began when I realized that I'm not the smartest man in the world. I'm not the best business person in the world. Hell, I'm not even the best athlete in the world. I'm just like someone who like taught himself a lie. So I had to break that courage constraint and like create my own legacy. And a certain way I did that was a lot of people suffer the way I suffer, right? You don't have to be addicted to drugs to suffer. You just have to like be strong enough to actually build your own empire.
yep.
So yeah, that's where my
And
moment is.
well, and I feel you as far as like, saying you were spoiled growing up. I heard my whole life from my friends that I was spoiled. It's like, okay, yes, I had it pretty good, not early on in life, but like once I was like a teenager and whatnot, my dad and my mom, they provided very well for us. But what a lot of people didn't see is I had to earn every single thing that I had. Like I had chores every day on the farm. Like I worked my ass off every day
Yeah.
so I could, get a cell phone that my parents would pay for and car insurance and vehicles, things like that. So, I'm kind of right there with you, and you're right. Once my dad passed away in 2019, that's kind of when I had to grow up because I didn't have my dad there that would, come in and save the day whenever I fucked up or I needed something.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was when my whole life started to change a lot because I had to. It wasn't easy anymore. I
Hmm.
didn't have the family business to lean on. I had to figure out how to make money myself and how to support my life that I had built because you know, like living within your means. I mean, I was, what was that, 2019, I was 28, 29 years old, and I have an acreage. I have a fairly big house. At that point, I think I had 16 vehicles.
Wow.
Yeah, I had side by sides, four wheelers, all the fun toys, a boat, and when we sold the company, I didn't have the income that I had, you know. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh crap. So that's when I started my journey into being an entrepreneur because I had to keep the life that I built,
You.
you know.
Yeah.
Which man, it's hard. I still struggle financially, but we're getting better, And I struggle financially right now because I left my job. I had a job, but after so long of running a business and having a job, I got tired of. I was like,
Yeah.
I gotta pick one, and I picked my business, of course, and decided to go all in on that. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that I did too, because working for yourself is a lot better.
It is a lot better, but a lot of people just think that, oh, like I'll tell you, all my friends, like, oh, it must be nice to like work for yourself and not have to worry about being a boss or having a boss above you telling you what to do. But it's like, yeah, you have a lot more telling you what to do because it's not like you have a boss to deal with that's just delegating to you. You have to learn how to delegate yourself. And
Hmm.
most of the time, as a boss, you fall into that delegation trap where it's like, oh, no, you know what? I want to do it all myself. I'm going to do it myself because nobody can do it better. And that's like, no, that's an entrepreneurial dilemma right there. because you feel like you should do it all yourself because it's your company and you run things, you fall into that trap where it's you're doing it all and you don't have the resources to back it up. So that's where your business starts stagnating and you start losing clients because it's got to be about you. So it's mostly like when people tell you it must be nice, it's like, no, because you have so much more to deal with than just someone telling you what to do or yelling at you. You
Yep.
yell at yourself. You yell at
Yep.
yourself all the time because you know you're doing things wrong, but you feel like you still have to push through it. Your vendors yell at you, your clients yelled at you, your employees leave you. You have a lot more to deal with, and it's not that simple. It's not like, oh yeah, I make up my own hours. I don't.
Mm,
The business
mm,
makes up my own hours. Like if I want to take a vacation, I can't just take a vacation. I have to plan it accordingly.
mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
that's like, yeah, being an entrepreneur is not an easy task and it's not for everyone. You would have to pass those trials and tribulations first,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
And it's like, yeah, I like it more, but it's not easier.
No,
It's hard because when you have to be basically your own boss, man, that gets difficult because
it
you gotta
does.
force yourself to get up every day and
It
put in the work
does. Yeah.
necessary. You know, and if like at a job, if you slack off or don't do your job, you're still gonna get a paycheck.
Yeah.
If I slack off, I don't get paid at all. So it's much, much harder.
Not only that, that MRR starts slowing, going down and down.
Yep.
You could be making 25,000 one month, and then the next month you're down to five, two, three.
Yeah.
You can't pay
Oh,
the bills.
that's the hardest thing is
Uh,
when like a lot of my clients now because I've learned like I like to have my clients with me for a long time and they pay every month.
yeah.
Well, I have some things that are just a one-time payment. They buy it and good. So yeah, some months I get paid a lot, and then the next month I only get my recurring clients, and it's like, oh crap.
Yeah, it's a constant roller coaster ride.
Mm-hmm.
You
It
want to
is.
get that to the point where it's like predictable, like growth, not just like, that little like flimsy. And it's not easy to get predictable growth. It's not easy to get from point A to point B in a straight line.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe sometimes you'll go with like that little curve, but most of the time it's up, down, up, down, up, down because it's unsteady. Scaling a business is very unsteady,
Yep.
unstable.
Yep. It is.
No,
So I know that you recently wrote a book, and you got that out. So
can I bring that up here? Boom,
let's
greatness
hear about
rises
that. There we
from
go.
invisible to invincible. I got that little window so I can see that right there. That's available now on Amazon, and I'll also record the Audible version, which is now available on Audible.
Awesome. So
Uh,
what's it about? Let's
okay,
hear.
so when I first started my own framework, when I started creating my own framework, I started like reflecting back, through self-reflection, through like the wrongs I've done, and I started piecing together the top five marketing constraints that we go through, right? And I did that because I met with a couple of my friends down in Connecticut last year, and I had a breakthrough. Like one of my friends, Robert, is big on the theory of constraints, Elijah Goldrath. And theory of constraints always comes down to like there's one single bottleneck that's robbing your business blind. And there's like certain different things. And I took that theory of constraints and I figured out instead of me trying to build pillars around things, because everyone's building pillars, right? Well, you need these five brand pillars in order to like scale your business. But most of the time, I noticed that people, like regular entrepreneurs, like you and I, small business owners, have what I call like the five marketing constraints. They're missing out, not because they need to build pillars, but they need to eliminate those constraints. Came up with the five top ones that I actually like see that businesses fail on. And that's courage, consistency, systems, measurements, and resources. And I picked the top one that I like suffered with the most, which is courage. And I wrote the whole book on the courage constraint itself because that's, I think, not only do I suffer from that, but I realize that a lot of entrepreneurs who I speak to, like every single time I bring up the courage constraint to them, they're like, you know what? That's us too. And going back to like the days where in 2000, I said 2002, 2003. I can't remember the exact year, so I wrote in the book I wrote 2003. I think it was 2002 as opposed to it. But anyway, that's long story short. I went into like my girlfriend's house on Christmas Eve. And this whole thing was like I wasn't invited, first of all. Like I just wanted to drop off a gift. But at the same time, like my thought process during that whole time, I was more so like you know, hating myself. Like I was at the point where it's like I didn't like, because like I kept listening to outside sources that are in my head that kept telling me, she's gonna leave me. So I built that self-fulfilling prophecy inside my head, and lo and behold, I went into a party that's already been going on. I was dressed like a slob because at that point I did not care about myself. I didn't care about looking good. I didn't care about anything because I had it in my head that I was worthless. So instead of me having the courage to actually leave the party and like stand up and like be like, I don't belong here, I froze in the doorway. I didn't know what to do. I didn't like, I didn't act like a person that's like knew what the outcome would be. I acted like a person that was just scared to death. And instead of like doing the fight or flight, I didn't fight or I didn't flight. I actually stayed there. And like we're taught, fight or flight, like, fight, you always have to constantly fight. But sometimes flighting is the best idea. Because at that point, if I just left, everything would have been better. But I didn't. So I froze. And at that moment, like I figured eyes were all on me. People weren't really paying attention to me, but they knew. So I called that moment attention purgatory, which means I'm stuck between fight or flight. I'm stuck there, like not even obscure, but not getting the attention I deserve. So it's that middle point that I considered attention purgatory. And that was because I had that courage constraint in me. So I had to learn how to break that. So I tell the story in my book about the attention purgatory. I tell it about like the echo chamber, how the external forces get into my head, or the two-sided coin of cowardice, that no matter what side you chose, it was cowardice. So I had to leave at that point. But I broke it down to like my entrepreneurial journey when I first got my restaurant and like how I had a cheesecake. And I was scared of moments of actually like going out there and getting the attention I deserved because I was scared of the feedback that happened to me on Christmas Eve. I know I had the best cheesecake in the world. I still believe I have the best cheesecake in the world, but I never marketed it correctly because I was deathly afraid of what's going to come out back at me. And because of that, I was stuck in my shell. So I wrote a book on how to break that habit, how to break attention purgatory, how to break that courage constraint, and definitely get the attention you deserve. And it's
I
all
like
in
that.
there, every single like piece of like my framework, my visibility complex framework, on the four pillars of actually building it out. Then I have my visibility triangle, which teaches you exactly how to break that courage constraint. I have all of my frameworks, all like my assessments, all like the third 90-day game plan on how to break that constraint, all in my book. And that's available now on Amazon.
Awesome. I will be dropping the link below so everybody can check it out.
That'll be awesome.
Yep. And I still gotta order mine too because I want to read it because
Of course.
courage goes with confidence. And you know me, I'm all about helping people build their self
Yeah.
confidence. So yeah,
Yeah, well,
um,
confidence comes from courage. I always say, like, everyone's
yeah,
like, oh, courage versus confidence. Courage is like the act of doing something despite a fear, right? Confidence is the buildup of courage from that.
mhm, yep, I
You know,
agree.
consistent actions of consistent, courageous actions build confidence.
Yep,
Yeah.
awesome. So yeah, your book is exciting. I can't wait to read it myself. I hope everybody listening gets your
Um,
book because I know you, and anything that you're gonna put out there is gonna help somewhat much. So
I
thank you
appreciate
for
that.
what you do.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
And what are you working on in business these days?
So I have my I call it the Greatness Rises ecosystem. Now, what I started formulating is actually creating workshops based off of the courage constraints or based off the five marketing constraints. But I always start off with courage. And what I do is I actually take intensive, like a whole day workshop, or like sometimes it breaks down to 2, 3 days. And we go over exactly the visibility complex framework that I mentioned in my book to how to overcome that courage constraint. And I also do my marketing. I have my marketing agency, which I don't really get involved in that much anymore because I'm so focused on actually breaking the courage constraint. But my marketing agency consists of frameworks behind my courage, I wouldn't say just a courage constraint. but I would say my 5 marketing constraints at that point. So we take you from courage, we take you through consistency, like because you're taking those courageous actions now. Now you got to be consistent with them. And once those two are done, it's like that's when you really start scaling your business. That's why measurements come in handy. A lot of companies don't measure. And I will tell you they don't track their key KPIs. And that's where like your marketing starts failing because you think you know it all, right? So it starts that start stop marketing cycle where it's like, you do it once in a while and you don't do it because you're not seeing any results. Well, you're not measuring those results. So how are you going to see them? And systems and resources are like more further up the chain, more on the scalability factor. Like once you're doing 2 million or 3 million, that's when you start needing to actually like really pay attention to your systems and your resources. And the system, sometimes you have like the delegation trap, like I called it. You don't have the system in place to actually delegate correctly. So those are like the 5 marketing constraints that I go over with my clients to actually get them to go from either 0 or usually it's 100K that they're doing a year to about 3 million.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
how can people work with you?
I mean, they could just email me, gabe at beforetherisincom, find me on my website, beforetherisincom, or on any of my social media channels,
I
or
would,
buy my book. Yeah.
yeah, buy the book. Everybody just needs to do that right away. Buy his
Uh,
book, read the book, and then go work with him. There you go. Awesome, Gabe. Well, this is awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show again. And just
Thanks,
like
Nick.
the first episode, I have to ask you, what does your abilities are infinite mean to you?
That means that you should never limit yourself to a constraint. Always have the courage to do what your mind is telling you you can't do. Always have the courage to tell you what your friends are telling you you can't do. Because no matter what you believe, no matter what your friends believe, you can do it. No, your abilities are infinite. Don't listen to anybody else.
Yep, I love that. I talk about that a lot. Don't listen to anybody else because everybody's going to try to hold you back. Just figure out
Exactly.
what you can do.
Exactly.
So,
Look at what
uh,
you accomplished.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, and that's why I'm so passionate about helping others realize that they can do more than what people say that they can do.
Exactly.
Because if I did that, if I would have listened to everybody growing up, I I probably wouldn't have walked. I definitely want to have my own home. I
There you
want to
go.
drove. Like, I wouldn't be owning a business either. So
Exactly. There you
it's like,
go.
yeah. So
Proud of you.
um, thank you, thank you. I'm really proud of myself. So
Good.
thank you. All right, this was awesome. Thank you again.
Thanks, Nick. I appreciate you.
If you enjoyed this show, please go ahead and share it on your Instagram story and tag me in it, the Nick Your Heart. Also, go ahead and share it anywhere else that you see fit. So let's just get it out there by word of mouth and help more people. Alright, everyone, remember your abilities are infinite.